What is happening, guys? My name is HybridGraphics, and I guess this is a liftoff to my new series, which is going to be becoming a basic designer. Well, the title's going to be in the video, a basic designer, something like that. So to keep the title short, but what this series is going to be is what this series is going to be based on is well the basics to becoming a graphics designer, creating text, creating Cinema 4D text. The programs we're going to be using, of course, in this series is going to be usually only basically Cinema 4D and Photoshop. The Photoshop I have is CS6, and I love this Photoshop. And Cinema 4D R12. You can get the lower versions if you want. Doesn't really matter which ones you seem to get. But let's jump right into it. We're going to be starting with Photoshop, creating simple text. So here are what I'm going to be using right now. What I like to do is to make the background. You want to go down here, double click this. Somewhere in between white and black, and then just fill it in. This way, you click this right after. This way, either you can use white or black, whatever you want, and you'll still be able to see it no matter which color you use out of these main two colors that seem to be down there for you to use. Let's change that to 150, I guess, since this image is quite large. So I have a lot of fonts, like I've downloaded so many it's not even funny really. Well, actually it is quite funny, but let's go with something nice. A nice one I like to use is BBass for 2D text. Yeah, I think BBass would probably, I think it's BBass, I'm pretty sure. Let's say basic. Yeah, that text looks really nice. So creating text is usually based around their blending mode. It's called blending options. You're gonna have to right click this layer over here after putting the text down and go up to blending options, and from right here on you're gonna have many different options to choose from, such as gradient, something I really like to use. You're gonna double click this, you're gonna double click this, and then you're gonna click something like somewhere down in this gray area. White and gray is what I like to use. I'm not sure why though, but it's just what I like to use, I guess. So creating a good text, we're just gonna create a good text here. You can just follow me in what I do, and if you miss something, I guess just pause and go back or whatever. We're gonna go to inner glow. For inner glow, I want you to change this to normal, turn it down to black, basically make it look like as if there's a shadow, an inner shadow, but instead we're using inner glow to do that instead. Actually, let's go back to gradient quickly. Let's make that a bit more grayish, I guess. And that's all we're gonna do for inner glow. We'll put the shadow in this time. Take the size down to 0, opacity 100, put it up to normal, make it white. Put this to 90, yeah, 90. And bring the distance down to 2, and this way it looks like there's a nice little gloss overhead. Actually, yeah, 2 looks good for it. 2 looks really good for it, to be honest. So as you can see, our text is already starting to look really good just by adding inner shadow, inner glow, and gradient overlay. We already got a very, very nice text here. What I like to do also is to put a drop shadow. You want to take the opacity down. You don't want to overdo it too much. Bring the size out a bit. Let's try 40. Yeah, 40 is good. You if you go way up here, you may think that looks good, but overdoing stuff doesn't really make it good, to be honest, in my opinion. So here's a basic text right here. That is actually a really nice text, to be honest. And, well, I don't know what else to do for Photoshop. We just made our basic text. Let's do another one. We have a lot of time, to be honest. We have a good 10 minutes. Let's take off all these. Another way of creating a text would be if you put in the inner glow back in, bring the opacity up pretty good, go like that. You see, that doesn't look like it's with this background right here. It's like, doesn't look like there's an indent in this background just yet. But if you come over here to fill, you could bring that all the way down, and it actually looks pretty good. Give me a drop shadow. No, not drop shadow. Let's put a stroke on it. Bring the size down to 1. And as you can see, it looks like it's been indented into the gray background we have right here. That also can be used as a very nice text. But really, you see, you can't see it now because the fill has been taken down to 0. What else can we do? I think that's basically it. You can also use bevel emboss, although I like doing my own way of like inner glow and inner shadow, which makes, I think, in my opinion, look way better for 2D. 2D, I'm not that much into 2D, honestly. I love doing 4D stuff, in which we're gonna do right now. So for 4D, I want to open a template. It's what is known as a Lightroom, text Lightroom. You could find that in my 0.1K GFX pack, which should be in the description, I guess. I might put it in the description, I might not. Not sure. And what it does is it has these lights all around it, and a camera which you can enable and disable right here. So right away, when you have this Lightroom opened, you'll have these materials down here, the different colors, the different textures you could use. And if you're unsure on how to create a material, you're gonna just double click down here, which should create the material. And to change it into one of these, you're gonna right click this, and you'll be able to change it to what you prefer. This is what I prefer. The colors are right here. The top one, you can change it to. If you bring all these down, you'll get a nice red. And since we have this Lightroom, why not add a nice reflection to this material? You'll when we're on the reflection, you'll see it looks like this. You don't want it to be fully reflected, so we're gonna go right here to this button right here, go to Fresnel, and take both of them down as much as you can, and there you go. That looks pretty nice, to be honest. And well, I'm not going to be using this. I like using my own custom made ones, which I probably won't be getting out there. I'm not sure what I was about to say there. So let's get started with the text. To create a text, you want to come up to MoGraph and MoText, and that will create a custom or a pre-made text for you to play around with. Using this and going to text would also work, but you'll have to add extrude norms to that, and which takes too long. Well, it doesn't take that long for me. It takes like a few seconds, but for others, it may take minutes to figure out. But yeah, so coming up to MoGraph and MoText, you'll get your text. You're gonna want to put the line right in the middle so that it's in the line with this camera perfectly. And to change the font, you want to go to font right here. And once again, I'll use my friendly BBass font. And let's change it to basic again. So we got our basic text right here. We're gonna be there's only like the options that I use would be going to caps, and once you're on that cap bar, you're gonna go to click on this, go to fillet cap, click on this, go to fillet cap, so it adds it also to the back. As you can see, if I go behind here, if I go to just cap, it'll go back to normal fillet cap. And you don't want these caps to be too big, especially with their lights above. This will create, the lights above are going to create some type of gloss on these caps, which make the text look way better. So let's go to 3. Just change the radius to 3. Also, you can change your steps. It creates, well, you'll see when you render it out. It'll create some type of I don't know how to say that, but let's just get back into this. The depth we're going to change to 150. This way it looks like it's just expanding out and you'll be able to see the sides nice and clearly. I like it to put it at 150, although it looks very large from the side. From the front it looks sexy as hell and all, whatever. So before we go ahead, and we can look at this right here. See, this option will allow you to look at how it's coming along. But before I do that, I want to disable global illumination and just keep ambient occlusion, which will make it look okay. And as you can see, there's a weird gloss here. We don't want that gloss on the front like that. Unless you like the look of that, then you go ahead and do that. We're gonna put these lights up just a bit. Now let's check it out. And as you can see already on the sides, the caps that were added, it adds a tiny little bit of gloss, which makes this text look way much better than what you would think, whatever. And when you look at here, the ambient occlusion, if you take that off, the text looks okay, but it doesn't look as good as it does with this on. How do you do that? 1 minute, let me delete these. You go up to here for the settings. You want to change the settings to 1280 by 720. Just copy these settings down that I have. Just pause it as I go through them, so because I'm slowly running out of time, quickly running out of time. I mean, copy the settings. This is when you click this, you will be able to put it in whatever folder you want. The PNG image, you want these to clicked so that you just get the text. Multipass, we do nothing with that. Anti-analysis, we want to change that to best. Options, I didn't change anything with that. But to add ambient occlusion, you want to click effect and go to ambient occlusion. You don't really have to change anything here. And also, another effect you want to add would be global illumination, which would make it 20 times better, honestly. And when you got all that done, you want to click here. 1 minute, let me change it to basic. Instead of putting this in there, let's like, if you want to put your 40 text that you've rendered out in there, you can just, let's use blackies. Go to file, place, and you should be able to place it in. And as you can see, the background isn't there at all. You could, and well, that's all to it, guys. That's all we have. 15 minutes. Thanks for watching, and I'll have a part 2 out soon. Peace.